moving on. I want to introduce, we've talked a lot of it about money and investing, and so we had to build that generational wealth. And someone who's doing that, Tayde Aburto, serves as CEO of the U.S. Business Association of E-commerce. He's actually the co-founder of the Hispanic Chamber of E-commerce. Since 2018, he has been promoting digital economy and supporting over 15,000 small businesses. We welcome here today to lead our new panel.
We weren't able to.
Buenos días.
Yeah, thank you.
So happy to be here today, after these 2 years of Zoom calls. By the way, all those that are watching us online, buenos días también. I'm happy to introduce two very close friends of mine. We've been doing this chamber work for a few years. And hopefully after this session, we're going to get you guys excited about joining your local Hispanic chamber or your business group in town. And hopefully we will show you like the importance of us being together as entrepreneurs and business owners. So let me introduce Alejandro and Jaime. Jaime anda ya socializando. Notes over here.
I just want to say before we start, I'd like to thank Armando. This was supposed to be in our office at the grocery store, but I wanted to cost me a lot of money. So then I called around and I asked Armando, can you host us? And right away he said yes. The bank said, hey, I can host you too. So the deal breaker was the food, so. That's what you like. Post office should be post office. There's a places here, a lot of food. 5 zeros here.
Chocolate.
So we're gonna talk about growing together, okay? And like I said, Jaime Paulo is the president and CEO of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and Alejandro Coss is the president and CEO of the Latin American Chamber of Commerce in Georgia. I'm Tayde Aburto, I'm the president and CEO of the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce in San Diego. So 3 different areas, but at the end of the day, we have come to the conclusion that we all share similar issues, we all share similar interests, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So the first thing that I want to address with you guys is the importance of us investing in ourselves. And I would like you to tell us like how chamber members can benefit from joining your guys' associations. You want to start?
Yeah, well, the chambers, Congressman Garcia alluded to that. There's 140,000 Latino businesses in the state. 80% of those are in the Chicago metro. But the problem is they don't scale. 90% of those businesses are under 4 employees. Think about it. So people can talk to you left and right, the Latinos or Latinas specifically, they are opening up the businesses all over the country all the time. Yeah, they're opening up a lot of businesses, but people don't realize that in 3 years, 90% of those businesses close.
Yep.
Because they don't have they don't belong to the chamber. They can report the back office. So they're very good in the front office, they're very bad at the back office. What chambers do is help you with your resources to take care of that back office. I mean, we got the know-how how to do that. We got the connections, we got the banking institutions, and for example, my friend Jose Garcia is over there from my credit union that can help you actually get beyond that 20% 4-employee threshold and really help them. If you want to make an impact, you need to have. You want to have government contracting, you need to hire more. You need to scale up. You need to learn how to bond your business because, as Susana was saying, the state takes 12 days Yeah, but by the time that invoice gets to her, it takes 35 days. So you need economy so you can support your employees while you get paid. So that's what changes. And your number one consumer in the world is U.S. government. There's no reason why if you have a panaderia, you shouldn't be selling to the prisoners. Those prisoners eat bread. That's what chambers do. Connect you to life, do business. Whatever you do, man, they just don't build roads and bridges. They consume petroleum paper, soda, anything else. If you're in business, if you're not contracting with government, you are missing out. Other people are doing it.
Alejandro?
The situation in Georgia is very similar. We have about half the Latino businesses that Illinois has, so 70,000. 80% of those have report no employees. So we have a lot of people that don't really own a business, they own a job, right? They are solopreneurs. And what we need and what we provide at the chamber are the resources to grow and to make this business not only successful but also sustainable, right? We want to have more Latinos building those roads, but not, working in the construction, but owning the company that is building those roads. We want more Latinos and Latinas, and what Jaime said is very important. We are very proud of the growing number of Latino-owned businesses in the country, and particularly of Latinas. And it's great to see around the room. I think that we, the guys, are underrepresented, but we're very proud of that. But we need to recognize also that for those businesses to be successful long term, they need technical assistance, they need support, they need connection, they need mentorship, and that's what we provide at the chambers, right? We are engines of economic development as a community, and the chambers are a vital resource, and that's what we are, a resource.
One thing that I believe very strongly is the importance of trying to absorb as much information as possible when it comes about our business. And all the chambers present here, and the more than 200 chambers that belong to the U.S. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, where we engage a lot, they usually have workshops and seminars throughout the year. Now with the pandemic, most of them were webinars, but we're resuming operations this year. And that's why I wanted to tell you guys that take a look at what's happening in your local area to see if any of those, generally speaking, are going to be free workshops and seminars, are going to be a good fit for what you're currently doing, whether you are a professional or if you are a business owner. I have invested thousands and thousands of dollars over the last 14 years, educating more than 15,000 small businesses through our platform. And for me, that is important because if we are going to be investing all that time that we do in the activities that we do, at least we want to feel like we're leaving something behind, and we're also like investing in the people that follow us. And to piggyback on that, I would like you guys to talk about the importance of networking, because even when you go to these seminars and workshops and you are sitting in a room like this, you're going to start meeting a lot of other community leaders and professionals in your community. So talk about the importance of networking to start building something positive about your business.
Well, they say it's not what you know, but who you know. And networking provides the opportunity to connect with others. And sometimes we make the mistake of thinking of networking first of a way to find clients, customers, right? We're always trying to find that connection that we're going to do business with, sell them something. And we also think a lot of times when we're making those connections, how can you help me? When we also need to be thinking, how can I help you? And that's truly where we build those connections. Because a lot of those connections are not going to be, new clients today, but they are going to be an important connection in the future. They can be your next banker. They can be the next supplier, the next person who is going to help you overcome a barrier, and by also thinking of how can I help you. Where someone mentioned yesterday, you meet someone and you think that person can help you today. You don't know what the future holds. That person might be the next congressman, or might be the next president of a corporation, or a high executive. So you're building those relationships for the future. So that is one of the key areas that we work at Chambers, and I think it's important to look at in a different way, not an immediate connection that is going to bring something today, but you are really, that's why it's called networking. You're building that network.
Yeah, Chambers are known for network events, for throwing away parties, gay rides,
Go from there.
off-term events, and happy hours. They're for a reason. So you can engage and have conversations. For example, yesterday, we were on a network event. To celebrate the Cinco de Mayo party. And I met the person from Nokia that I've been chasing down all the time through Zoom, and yesterday there she was. And then so we talked, and now she's going to be a big investor in our chain. That's the power of it. Networking is a skill, and you got to work. I don't have a PhD on anything, but I'm a good networker. I know how to network. I know how to meet people. So that's the key to success in any field, really. You might find somebody if you're a student, you might find a rich guy who wants to, pay scholarship someday. Man. You never know. So, how to network is key. And Chambers are very good at it. We do that for a reason. If we believe the power of one-on-one. For example, I'll give you an example. People with EPP came out. Remember the payment protection plan? Well, there was no credit unions were left out of that. Credit unions cannot give loans. So somebody brought it up to me, and I went all the way to Washington and talked to Jovita Carranza that I know. Jovita was the prior SB administrator from the other side. She's from here. So I went to Washington, I talked to her, and won. Pretty soon, it was approved. So now every credit union in the United States is able to give PPP because and say it's one.
Just to add to that comment, because I know there are a lot of young Latinas and Latinos here today, and I'm a big promoter of the digital. And I know that most of you guys have Twitter or TikTok or Facebook, LinkedIn, etc. Right? So use those tools to your advantage. It's not just to be like conchismes. It's just to also build relationships. And if you start joining, the LinkedIn group of the chambers, follow the social media profiles that the chambers have, and you start engaging with some of the folks that are already engaging with our accounts, that's another great way to network. And you start building those relationships that eventually, just like Alejandro said earlier, are gonna become an asset to your business or for yourself. And a lot of these relationships take time. I have built a very strong network. I'm originally from Michoacan. I moved in 2006 to San Diego. So the only person that I knew when I moved there was my wife. And then, one thing led to another, and we started the Hispanic Chamber of E-commerce in 2008. And now I have a very strong network because of the work that I've been doing with the Hispanic Chamber of E-commerce, not just in San Diego, but across the country. And, knowing that there is like a handful of Mexicans in the U.S., how many, Robespierre? Like 50 million or something?
I think over 40 million now.
Over 40 million? I mean, it's just a handful of us,
Well, Chicago, for example, is the 5th largest city in the world.
In the world of Mexicans. And the second one on Michoacan.
1.8 million Mexicans in Chicago.
So imagine the power if we start building, this network. Everyone watching on Zoom, start following AMA USA ORG, right? That's the handle on Twitter. And please, if you are watching, start sharing your businesses on, because I'm curious to see how many entrepreneurs are following Amma right now.
Let me give you an advice. So, network, for those shy people out there, always ask a question. Make yourself known.
Yeah.
Always, wherever, any question, just
There is no
ask something.
Yeah.
So people know you there. You know, it doesn't do any good to be there quietly. Just ask something. You gotta answer that. I learned that.
I think we address a little bit of the importance of relationships within your community, but also outside your community, through social media and participate in these events and stuff. So I want to ask you guys, like, how important it is for business owners and professionals to invest in their brand, not just the business, but the personal one. You want to elaborate on that? Time will start.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a business, you are the brand to begin with. And then you gotta act like it. You gotta learn how to market it. And you have these tools right now. You can do that for free. Basically, you can access the internet and those tools like Facebook, Instagram,
University.
at the university. And there's a lot of resources. For example, our chamber, we have a grant that actually can help you build a brand for free, no cost. So access those chambers. I mean, that's what we do. We can help you build your brand. We can help you promote your goods. Yesterday, for example, there was a lady that built shoes. So I said that she was wondering how to market those shoes. So I introduced her to Tayde, and Tayde said, look, I just met with Microsoft, and that's the kind of product they're looking for, so I'm going to connect you. So this lady was over the moon, and I don't know, maybe it was meant to be, you guys met, but that's the power of the brand.
What you just mentioned, Jaime, is again a great example of the work of the chambers, and we are a lot of times we're that connector between, in this case, a corporation that has a program that can benefit small businesses, that they don't know how to reach those small businesses. By being involved with the chambers, we are that bridge that connect and brings those resources to businesses. The challenges, in branding that you mentioned, a lot of times, a lot of Latinos, a lot of Mexicans, particularly immigrants, start businesses serving our community, right? Selling tortillas and tacos and operating a grocery store and bringing the la playera de la selección the official and the no official one too. And we have an incredible ability to identify opportunities to sell to our community, to serve our community needs. But a lot of times we stay in that group, right? And we stay and keep that small business small. And again, I can't stress enough that we are a resource to help businesses, grow, to become not only successful but sustainable. What we want is our community to generate wealth, and that wealth to be transferred to the next generation. We were talking a few minutes ago about the importance of the next generation in politics. Well, the next generation of Latinos, of Mexican Americans, of American Mexicans is as important for the economy, and it's important to remember that. And I think I went a little off topic. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. And we wanted to talk about branding because when you invest, in your personal development and having a strong brand in the community, just like Alejandro said, and it surprised me sometimes when I talk to political people or other business leaders, and I tell them like this business is Latino, and they're like, really? I have no idea, but that's when someone has invested the time and the resources into building something that is going to attract the general market. And I think that is extremely important because when you limit yourself to a specific niche in a very small area in your community, then your sales are going to be stagnant at some point, right? So when you start building a brand that is going to be representative of your dream and something that you want to take to the next level. The other thing that we have learned over the years is that not every business owner wanna have a multi-million-dollar business. And I'll share a quick story. One of my members, and probably you guys can have another one to share. I told him, I said, you should get online because you have a really good product. The operation you're running a very small I think that you can scale it up. And I said, what for? So you can make more money. And then what? Well, you can work until like 1 p.m. and then enjoy your evening, with your family, get in your hammock, get a little beer. I'm already done.
We don't like that one.
And he's like, I'm already doing that, so why should I, stress myself trying to serve more businesses and stuff when I'm already living the life that I'm happy with. And I learned something very powerful that day, because oftentimes we try to take businesses to a higher level where they don't want to go to a higher level. So we have to invest the time with those that want to scale up, and with the others would say like, okay, these resources are enough for you to get to where you are, and these other ones that want to take it to the next level, chambers can help you out. And I want to talk a little bit about the programs, so people have an idea of the different programs that you guys have in your chambers and other chambers in your areas.
Yeah.
Jaime has a ton.
It's not all about parties and galas and we really engage in helping small business. In our office, for example, we have a small business development center with usually our host non-university. So we have one, and we just won the National Small Business Development Center of the Year. So Pedro Guerra, who's the director of the Navigator program in the state, right? We Navigator. Then Adrian over there, he's the director of the Policy Institute. Everything we do is directed to data-driven or policy, right? And by the way, we're about to sign an agreement with the university about becoming a real partner through data and job placement. And then Jacob over there, the tallest Mexican I know. He runs the SPPRC, Small Business Transportation Resource Center. We represent 5 states, help minority-owned companies access U.S. Department of Transportation and jobs. I don't know if you've heard about the infrastructure dollars, billions and trillions of dollars coming down the pipe. So what we do, we prepare minority-owned companies, not just Latinos, to have access to those transportation dollars. We're talking trillions. And then we have, for example, Latinx incubator. One of the zones, we have an incubator focused on technology to develop that next technology company. Our office is at 1871, which is the #1 technology incubator in the world. And we truly believe in technology. So we are, we develop technology cohorts so they can access those venture capitalists in the same place. And we have a PTAC, a Procurement Technical Assistance Center, which again, they're usually housed at universities. We do it in our office, and it helps minority companies get certification so they can access government contracts. We also have another program with the tollway, Illinois Tollway, which is the Peaje roads. In Illinois, there's some tollways. And we actually prepare companies, we give the technical assistance to minority enterprises or businesses so they can access contracts. So everything we do is focused on growing the business. For example, the tollway, it's very easy to hire a contractor to do everything, but we've been able to talk to them and convince them the only way we can grow Latino businesses is unbundling those contracts. So we've been very successful with doing that, especially the tollway. So now, for example, landscaping piece of the highways, we have, fines is a big deal. So now we have Mexican landscapers being primed, creating 1,000 jobs. So that's the kind of work that we do day in and day out.
We do basically 4 things. All chambers do basically 4 things. One is the networking. We already talked extensively about that. The second is we provide education, training. The other one is we help in business development, and I think that the Illinois Hispanic Chamber here, we in Georgia, we focus on bringing those opportunities in procurement with the private sector and with government at all levels to Latino businesses. They have to be certified, but they also have to be ready. and prepare. And that's where, where we come in, and not only the certification, helping the certification process, but making sure that they are ready to not only to participate in bid for a contract, but also to perform on that contract. And then the fourth thing that we do is advocacy. We advocate, we represent Latino businesses and defend their interests when it's necessary, and fight for them to have access. Procurement with the government, with the federal government, with the state government, with counties, with cities. It is important, and a lot of times we have to fight to open those spaces. In Atlanta, we had to have that fight with the city of Atlanta that has a very good minority business program. But when you hear minority, you think, well, African Americans, Asian Americans, Latinos, Native Americans. But when you read the fine print, the only minority that was included or could qualify for that program was African Americans. Everybody else was excluded, and we had to fight with the city for them to open that program to all minorities, and it took us a couple of years, but we finally were able to get that done. So that's just one example of the fight that sometimes we have to have representing the interests of Latino businesses.
Yeah, because if we don't do that, I mean, we monitor that. We have a legislative piece in our office. We actually have a lobbyist. Just monitors those bills and making sure that it's good for our community, our business community, or the ones that are bad, we fight for them to get. And we also try to get access to capital. I mean, we were, for example, this past legislation, like Garcia's heavy Democrat, like to give a lot of money. So we were able to put the IHCC on the actual budget, so we're gonna get $1.5 million every year for operations in our chamber. Not because we lobby.
We have a few minutes left, but I don't wanna leave this conversation without talking about the importance of financial literacy. When we're talking about growing together, it's extremely important that we address the issue of financial literacy in our community, not just with business owners, but professionals too. We saw it throughout this pandemic that unfortunately a lot of our businesses didn't have access to several grants, PPP and stuff, because they were not ready to apply for the grant. There was nothing to do with us being Hispanics or anything like that. We were just not ready. So, guys, how important it is to invest more time into financial education in our community.
I mean, I can't stress enough the importance of that. I mean, finances in your business is the number one thing you need to take care of. And please pay your taxes. Don't hide that cash, man. Pay your taxes, because you guys are the first one to complain about the light going out in the street. That's the fun. Pay your taxes, it comes back. The reason why a lot of our businesses, and there's many bankers here that can attest to that, not get access to PPP loans, for example, is because the taxes were not done. The behavior wasn't met. This, again, and this is a real issue in our community, because our companies don't scale up. There are very few that do, but the ones that, the 90% of them that are under 10 employees or 4 employees don't have the luxury of having a CPA at hand that can help them, right?
Yes.
So that's why chambers of commerce can become very important, so they can connect it with real CPAs. That's the notario that is he not, that doesn't know nothing about accounting, but he acts like an accountant. So connect it to real guys that are really gonna help you. Because again, our members are embedded, and we make sure we're gonna do the right thing. I mean, they're gonna charge you, which is nothing wrong with that, but they're gonna do the right thing for you, please. Financial literacy is the number one thing. It's a key component. I hear it all the time by banks, say, I can't give this guy loan. They don't have their financials together. They don't have their payroll together. I mean, you do it every day. And then the one consejo that I give all the Latino businesses, especially immigrant businesses, we need to learn how to use other people's money. That's the success of the United States. Learning how to use the credit system to improve your business. There's nothing wrong by asking for a loan. Please don't ever put your house up for bid so you can run a business. Don't do that. There's way around this. Things you can do not to risk things that you work very hard to have in a business, because the data, regardless of business, you have a good chance of losing your business, if you don't do the right thing. And if you put your house into that or your college funds and all that, si se ve negocio, they go in. I see that all the time in our community. So please, learn how to use other people. That's
I think financial education is vital for businesses and when we talk about the business owner, we usually think of just the business, but we also need to talk about the business owner, the individual, right? And like you said, a lot of them put all of their savings, their family savings, and any friend that was willing to give them a loan to start that business, to keep that business going. And a lot of times they don't have, the financial controls. They let's be honest, a lot of people only do accounting, in quotes, because they have to report to the IRS. If they didn't have to, they wouldn't do any type of accounting, right? The measure of success is if there is money at the end of the day in the register. And that is really not the way to run a business. But that relationship with, with the owner, we've seen a lot of times people maxing their credit cards, buying inventory, paying bills for the business. And if you don't have your financials in order, there is no way to make sure, like my grandmother used to say, que el negocio es negocio. It's the pandemic, we all found a way to make things work, right? With we didn't have a social security, with a tax ID, we will hire someone, we hired them as a 1099. If someone gave us an advice to lower our tax bill so you don't report sales, but then the pandemic came and all of these programs that were really a lifeline for a lot of businesses were not accessible because you took your financials, if you had any, to the bank, and then the bank at the end of the day, PPP was a loan, had to be treated as a loan. And they couldn't give you a loan because you were losing money. How are they gonna lend you money? Or you didn't have the payroll in order because, you have everybody outside of the payroll. And that was the hardest lesson of the pandemic was that all of these ways that we have found to operate that were not the right way, came back to hurt a lot of these businesses who didn't make it, unfortunately.
These applications, if they ask you for stuff, submit that stuff. Because that throws, you get to just, I said, and then you get to deny, right? So make sure.
I think we have like 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
Sure. Well,
Yeah.
oh no,
Like
yeah,
5 seconds.
well, last thing I want to say is like the previous panel said that it's important for us to get registered to vote. I want you guys to take out of this panel that it's important to watch out for your credit score. Very important. So go to Futuro Finanzas. We have a 15-page guide right there that is going to take you from 0 to 850. Because with a good credit, you're going to have access to cheap money and a lot of doors open for yourself and for your business. And the other thing that I want to tell you guys is that it's extremely important that you get actively involved in the digital economy because that's going to open up a lot of opportunities for yourself and for your business.
So I always like to always finish, every time I'm a big advocate for small business and I actually live and breathe small business. So I always end my conversation. Even though Amazon is a member of the chamber, Amazon does not support you in space. You can say, just a little grocery store in the corner.
Yeah.
We are part of
Thank you so much for your time.